Hi there, Alyssa here for AOP Tech on YouTube, and I wanted to share with you some of the exciting new Gmail updates that are rolling out this week to Gmail and G Suite. They just hit our domain, so if you don't see what we're looking at just quite yet, be patient. It's coming, I promise. So I'm going to jump into a demo Gmail account that we have. You can see that this student just happens to be missing a whole lot of assignments from myself and my colleague Aaron. This is one we use for our demo purposes. So there's emails and whatnot in here. And as you can see right now, this is the classic view of Gmail. It's probably what you're used to seeing when coming to Gmail. So the way that you change it over to these new updates is that you're going to go to your settings wheel over in your right-hand corner, and then you should have, or when it's active for your domain, you'll have try the new, and then I have my domain in their mail. So you can either, will have your domain, or if you're on a personal Gmail, it'll say try the new Gmail. So I'm going to select it, and it's going to take a moment to load. And as it does, welcome. That was pretty fast. So it has a fresh new look. That's what Google is calling this. And the first thing it's going to ask you to do is to choose a view. This is really pertaining to the space in between your messages. So first of all, the default, which is what we're going to leave it on in just a moment, but I'll let you see the difference here, is going to show you messages, and it's also going to show you attachments, and that'll be kind of important momentarily here. Comfortable view is going to give you space, and it's going to show you that you have an attachment with the paperclip, but not actually show what the attachment is from your primary inbox view. Or compact is going to just show those messages with a little bit less space in between them. But for our purpose, we're going to start with the default, and then I'm going to select OK. So as you can see, it's a fresh new look. For the most part, all of our major players in the same place. So I know that because here's my settings wheel over on the right-hand side. That's in the same place. My compose button is just remodeled, but it's in the top left. All those things are kind of in the same. I can hide that main menu window, or I can keep that open. My apps launcher is still up at the top right. So really, when we're looking at the layout, it should look just cleaned up, a little more modern. It's pretty familiar. So I want to point out to you a couple of those new features that are in there. So first, in this default setting, you can see I just sent an email to this student, Gmail testing, and I have a couple things. If I hover over that message, I get a menu on the right-hand side of that message directly, just by hovering, that I can archive, delete, mark as read, or snooze. This is new. You can snooze it so it comes back to you at a different time. So I can select snooze until later today, tomorrow, next week, someday, more specific than that. So it gives you the option of snoozing a message, which I think is could be useful if you've got an overflowing inbox, or if you really just need to focus. The other piece of that, and that happens automatically when I hover over any one of these messages in my inbox. The other piece with that default view, as I mentioned to you, I can see not just a paperclip that there's attachments, but I can see the start of those file names, and actually I can click on them directly from my inbox to launch them. If it's a PDF or a something that of that nature, like a Word doc that's been shared with you via Drive or something, you'll get that kind of preview pane view. So I can launch those directly, and that's useful. I don't have to necessarily go into the email. This is a new email, but if I have a document that I'm consistently coming back to, it's a nice way to have a little shortcut there. One of the major changes that have happened with Gmail is you'll notice here right on the side, on the right-hand side, there's now a direct integration between Google Calendar, Google Keep, and a redesigned and new Google Tasks right within the Gmail frame. So if I select Calendar from that right-hand side, I'll select Got It, and then I can see my Google Calendar if I had appointments and whatnot in there, so I don't have to necessarily go out to Calendar or have another tab with Calendar. If I want, I can add a calendar event just like I could if I was in calendar on the full web page, on there. So I can add that in, transfers over. So it syncs directly with Google Calendar. So if I'm in Gmail, I can see my events and create new events. If I'm in Calendar, I can do the same. And you see, there's actually an edit in calendar button if I needed to go out. Maybe I'm not getting the full view of what I need there. Next is the direct integration of Google Keep. So if you are a Google Keep user, this is great. This student is not yet, but I could take a note that says upcoming projects. And then I could take my note and type what I needed to type there. And it would also appear if I went directly to Keep or if I had the Google Keep app. Same with Calendar. Those things that you create, if you're using it web-based or maybe an app, they're going to sync together there. So I could open that and Keep then instead if I wanted, but I don't necessarily to. So direct integration. So this is great for me. I do a lot of to-do lists in Google Keep to kind of keep me on track. And now I can pull up those to-do lists right within Gmail. I can be in one place and I don't have to have a million tabs open, which is really exciting to me. Last of which is a redesigned Google Tasks. So in old Gmail, Google Tasks was kind of a hidden feature, and it wasn't really utilized all that much. So they redesigned Google Tasks. So you can add in a task more like a to-do list. So right now I was currently using Google Keep for that because I wasn't particularly a fan of the way tasks was set up. Now I might give this a go and see how it compares. One of the things that I really like with this redesigned Google Tasks is that actually, so I have this email here that says try out the new Gmail. If this was something that I needed to accomplish, I could drag that over and create a task based off of an email. So if an email was a reminder to get something done or whatnot, I could create a checkbox task right by doing so. And it shows me that it was from an email message. So that sounds like an amazing feature, and I can definitely see myself utilizing that. One last thing that I want to point out to you before I tell you about what's going to come even further as this Gmail update rolls out. Add-ons would be the last one. There's now add-ons for Gmail, much like there are for Google Docs and Slides and whatnot. I haven't dived into all of these yet, but I did notice ones that might be a help. DocuSign, which allows you to sign PDFs and things like that. I have it integrated with my Google Drive and Google Docs, but now I could do it in Gmail, so I can just utilize it right in Mail. Sign requests does a very, very similar thing. I know some people use Trello for to-do lists and whatnot. Again, there's now an integration. You always have Keep and Tasks automatically integrated in, but if you're using something else, there might be a connection for it to make things a little bit easier right in Gmail and kind of have a one-stop shop for all your productivity. So over the next few weeks, as Google continues to revamp Gmail and push out all of those changes, know that Smart Reply, if you're using Gmail on an Android or via the app, you get that Smart Reply. If somebody asks you something, you might get a yes, no, maybe option that you can hit and it'll insert it. So that is coming. An artificial intelligent unsubscribe button is in the works. So that way, if you haven't opened an email from Becker's in a certain amount of time, that Google will look to automatically unsubscribe you to those emails if you'd like. And confidential mode, that you could send email messages and attachments with an expiration date. And they're calling that confidential mode. So those things are still upcoming in this revamp. So we'll have more details on them as they come back. And just know that under settings, if you try this new Gmail and it's really not meeting you yet, you're not used to it, you could click to go back to Classic, but there is some point at which that Classic very well could expire and you have to use that new version. So if for the moment you just want to take a little peek so you understand, I understand that completely. But make sure you get yourself familiar with the new Gmail format, just so that way you can have that comfortability before it is a final piece in there. So I hope that gives you a good look at the changes to Gmail. I hope it's hit your domain. If not, hold tight, it's coming soon. So connect with us on any of our platforms. You can subscribe to AOP Tech below. As well, we are on Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram. And tweet us to let us know what's your favorite feature of this new Gmail. You can follow us on AOP Tech for all of your ed tech needs. So have a great day.